Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello everyone, this is Andrew Hafter, the host of the Parking Company Miracle Parking Show, with the 14th episode of this podcast. On this podcast, we'll be talking about employee engagement and learning on employee engagement. How do you engage your employees? This article, it's kind of based off of a pyramid, the pyramid of employee needs. This is off of the Harvard Business Review online. Genius Thomas A. Edison famously declared, "Many may be 1% inspiration and 99 perspiration, but building a company employee truly love reverses the equation. It's almost all inspiration, and sweat has only a little to do with it." This is the unexpected conclusion of new research from the Bain & Company, conducted in conjunction with the Economist Intelligence Unit. Here is the background. Many commentators talk glibly about employee engagement as if that concept was all encompassing and easy to define, but we have always found it helpful to break the idea into the component parts. The fundamental element, called them employee satisfaction, are fundamentals such as having a safe work environment and the tools necessary to do the job. Abraham Maslow taught us that we can't concern ourselves with the higher goals until we have the necessities of life, including security. So it is in the workplace. For first things first, the pyramid of employee needs. At the top of the pyramid, it's inspired employees. Get meaning and inspiration from their company's mission, are interested by the leaders in their company. The level below that is an engaged employee, are part of an extraordinary team, have autonomy to do their jobs, learn and grow every day, make a difference, and have an impact. The bottom level is satisfied employees, have a safe work environment, have the tools, training, and resources to do their job well, can get the jobs done efficiently without excess bureaucracy, are valued and rewarded fairly. Next come the elements of true engagement, such as feeling that you're part of an extraordinary team, that you're learning and growing, and that you can make a real impact. And then at the top, perhaps the equation of Maslow's self-actualization is the feeling that you derive meaning and purpose from the company's mission. That's inspiration. Most of us know that important inspiration can be everyday life in the workplace. As one prudent put it, employees react differently when they encounter a well-satisfied employee holding a discuss that to do about walls. Engaged employees begin looking around for ladders to scale their wall. Inspired employees break right through it. The research shows we surveyed over 300 senior executives from companies all over the world. We asked them to assess, based on their inspiration of employee output, the relative productivity of dissatisfied, satisfied, engaged, and inspired employees. The results point to the productive power of an engaged and inspired workforce. If satisfied employees are productive at the index level of 100, then engaged employees produce 144, nearly half again as much. But then comes the real kicker. Inspired employees scored 225 on the scale from a purely quantitative perspective. In other words, it would take 2.25 satisfied employees to generate the same output as one inspired employee. This article is from the Harvard Business Review. And so at Parking Company America, we have inspired employees, very productive employees. How much productivity does an inspired employee have with your organization? You have to look at how engaged each employee is, and it all comes down to this pyramid. Do you satisfy their lowest needs? And if you do, then they're able to give you more productivity in the workforce as well. So this wraps it up for this week's edition of the Parking Company America Parking Show. Now we will be talking about our locations. You can find this pyramid that I just kind of discussed on my Facebook page, and I had posted on Andrew Hafner's my name. You can look that up on my Facebook page, and you will be able to see the pyramid if you are interested in learning about employee engagement and employee satisfaction. This wraps it up for this week's edition of the 14th edition of the Parking Company America Parking Show with your host, Andrew Hafner. I look forward to talking to you next week about another subject that Parking Company America can offer your company by engaging your employees. I hope to inspire you, to give you inspiration to see and use the services that we have need. And I hope also that I have given you, like Thomas Edison says, 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Thank you all.